Item 1 on the agenda is approval of the minutes of the September 8th, 10th, and 16th meetings.
I'll move to approve.
I'll second. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Item 2 is make recommendation for the environmental soil and groundwater testing at 1300 Cleveland Avenue. So we had 7 proposals. They were reviewed by staff. The scoring and the averages are in your packet. We recommend to move ahead with GEI consultants for the work. I guess we don't have a budget yet, so that's proposed to go to Finance and Council tonight for that approval of the budget.
I'll move to approve that selection contingent upon its being budgeted for.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Let's see. Item 3, we have open quotations and make recommendation for the rental of 2 skid steers and snow blowers. First one's from Fabic. So there's 3 different costs here for each one. A monthly rental cost, do you want me to read them all, Mark?
Yeah, read them all off.
So you had a monthly rental cost of $3,880. They gave a 4-month rental cost, $15,520. And a total cost for a 2-year period, $31,040. Next is McCoy. The monthly rental cost of $1,500. We had this is a 5-month rental cost of $6,000 for 4 months, sorry. And, see below for the 2 years, $30,100.
The reason they have a 4-month rather than a 5-month that's stated is because I made a mistake on it. I put dates in there that equated to 4 months rather than 5.
Got it.
But I'll
Okay.
talk with the vendors to figure out the final.
Okay. Swiderski, monthly rental cost is $900. 5-month or 4-month, $4,500. And the total cost for the 2-year period is $9,000.
And Miller Bradford sent me an email to state that they couldn't bid because they don't do snow rentals.
Okay,
And I'd like to take these and review everything first before I make a recommendation.
sounds good. Okay,
Thank you.
so we'll bring those back with Mark's recommendation. Item 4, the Wausau Police Evidence Building Project, SD Ellenbecker, change order number 2. I'm not. Did this come
It
from?
came from Matt Barnes.
Came from PD. There was. Okay, I don't know anything about this. I don't know. I guess I'll have to check with Matt on what's exactly needed. Think-
Can bring it back next week,
Yep, bring that one back next week.
and then bring back the final payment too. Next item.
Yeah, 4 and 5, we'll bring back final payment as well. Thanks, Lori. Item 6 is the 2020 Highway 52 median landscape project, Pembroke Companies, change order number 2.
All right, so we're bringing this one back from last week, and hopefully I can provide a little bit better explanation. Van Aert is looking, well, Pember and their subcontractor Van Aert is looking for a change order to pay for the art bases that were not included, that they did not include as a bid. So in this write-up, I showed item 21 and 22, which are pulled directly from our specs in the contract documents for the concrete base special, which is the art bases, and then item 22, which is electrical service, which is the lump sum cost for all electrical items, which include the electrical bases. In bidding these projects, or this project, the landscape portion of the project was a much larger scope, so I broke that out into some individual items, then some smaller lump sum items such as site prep and earthwork. In differentiating between the landscape items and the electrical lump sum bid, the plans all had either an L or an E in front of the sheet number, so the E items was all the electrical for the project, which should have provided enough detail to bid as a lump sum item. It was left up to the contractor to determine the exact quantities, but that should have had enough detail, I felt, in the plans to provide the contractor with the information needed. Within those plans on sheet E500, the typical concrete base detail that was used for the light bases was on sheet E500. And then on sheet L301, the detail for the art bases was provided. And again, that art base detail was bid out as concrete base special. And again, as I mentioned last week, this is a little bit atypical to bid our light pole bases as a lump sum item bunched up with other items. We bid 2 other projects this year in which Van Aert was awarded a similar light pole base, and those were bid out individually as light pole bases. I'll open it up to questions. Also, Doug from Van Aert is here, if there's questions for Van Aert.
So, on the bid schedule, was there, like in the specifications, there's 2 separate items, 654-0301 and 656-0650. Were there 2 different bid items on the bid schedule, TJ?
Yes.
Okay,
So I also provided the bid schedule. We had 14 light items, and then a supplemental bid item, which was the electrical with no wire pulled through the conduits, but that was not accepted. So on this project, we only had items 1 through 14, 12 being the concrete base special, item 654-0301.
sure.
Also, I spoke with Pember, and Van Erck was the only contractor they received a bid from for both of these items.
So the concrete base special, that item 12 in the bid schedule, it was bid then? This is what we received?
Correct.
Okay,
Except, there was a misunderstanding. They assumed that that item was the light pole bases that was intended to be included in the lump sum for electrical service, if that makes sense.
okay. But the lump sum electrical service was not part, we didn't award that part of the contract?
We did award the electrical service, we just didn't award item 15.
Okay, okay.
So TJ, I guess the way we had it written, they should have included the electrical bases in that lump sum item
For the light pole bases.
for the light
yes.
pole bases, but I guess what they're saying is they didn't include that cost?
They included that cost in item 12, the concrete base special.
And how was that bid out per each, or is that
That was per each. But that item, as called out in the spec, is for the art base detail.
so how many of those are there?
There's 24 art bases, and there's also 24 electrical bases.
Okay, so with that thinking, if they would have bidding it that way, if they'd have counted, there should have been 48?
Correct.
Okay.
So we're, on the electrical service, that was 63,000, that was bid. And then they had 24 bases that were also bid, that was $15,600, so total is 79,000. So this additional 15,000 that they're asking for
Is
for
for the
the art bases?
Correct.
So they're saying that they didn't provide base cost in the lump sum electrical service cost of 63,000?
Correct.
Okay. Well, I guess then the discussion with the board is it was in the specifications and it was provided in, the bid schedule to bid that. They did not bid that work, as spelled out, so is that something that the city is going to accept and pay for, or, leave that responsibility on Pember as the prime contractor to take that cost? I don't know, I feel, based on the contract and how it was bid, I don't know. Did we, so you included the other two bids here too?
Yes.
Okay.
And also the subcontractor list, where they both list Van Erck as a subcontractor.
Okay.
It appears that TJ did everything correctly. I'm going to support that, and I would not support a motion to approve the change order request.
Okay. Doug, do you want to?
Well, yeah, I mean, typically, because right now I've got 6 or 7 projects going on in the city of Wausau alone. I did all the DOT work, in central Wisconsin, in a lot of municipalities. And I'm not sure if you received the letter that I had sent to Pember requesting this, but typically, with concrete light pole bases, there's type 1, 2, 5, 7, 10, 13. So those are all typical. So typically on a bid form, you would see that bid item for that base. And then if there's any deviation from that, they call it a concrete special. And that's exactly when I saw it on the bid form, that, it's a concrete special, I was under the assumption that that was, you know, the light pole base, you know, missed one word in the specifications saying that it was art. You know, if it had been on the bid form saying that it was the art base, you know, a red flag would have gone up and, you know, I would have looked a little deeper and, you know, same thing, you know, because I bid, you know, the electrical conduit bored in, which was 2-inch, because I had a boring contractor involved, I bid the 6-inch conduit. You know, in the past, you know, on city projects, you know, they have had some electrical lumped in, and the bases are sometimes separate, pole boxes are sometimes separate, and then, you know, anything special, you know, like the bored-in conduit, you know, those have been separate. Where a DOT project, you know, they have every item, you know, and every foot of the wire separated out. I guess just coming from, you know, my experience in doing this was, yeah, I missed it, you know, it was an honest mistake. But, you know, my portion of the whole contract, you know, the extra, you know, 15,000, you know, is a difference between, you know, making a little money and losing money on a job this small for us.
Sure.
And I guess the reason why we did use concrete base special, this is a unique item, the art base. You know, I can't imagine, I don't think we'll ever bid this item again, but going to the online bidding process, each time we have a new item or a different item, we have to create a unique number and a unique description. So rather than creating hundreds of different unique items, if there's any concrete base that is atypical, it would fall under this concrete base special, so we won't have to create new unique numbers every time we bid. Again, that, you know, Van Hert's probably bidding projects from multiple cities and multiple municipalities that do everything different, but that's how we do it moving forward now in the online bidding process.
Yeah, I guess,
Even if the city would be willing to, you know, split the cost, you know, 50%, 50%, something like that would help.
I guess, you know, it's a tough call, Doug, because, you know, we competitively bid these projects, and I realize you're the only electrical bidder on all three of these bids and stuff, and you know, I think we have to
He
go.
does have a history, you know, with Van Hert and myself heads up, you know, 90% of those projects.
Correct.
You know, I'd like to think that, you know, I've done, you know, good with you guys in the past and, you know,
And I think
being a
you,
little bitter.
yeah, and I think you always have, Doug, at least since I've been here, and, you know, and I don't, I think this is something that you just have to work out with Pember as the prime contractor, but I don't, at this point, I don't think that the board can move ahead with the approval of this if everything was laid out in the bid. So, I guess that's my feeling too, based on, you know, Ann's review of the information and stuff as well, so. I don't know if Mary Ann has any comments on this?
Can you,
We can hear you, Mary Ann. Maybe not.
okay, it was really hard for me. I don't understand how to do it. Do you hear me in the echo?
We don't hear the echo, we just hear you.
Oh, so anyhow, it was really hard for me to hear Van our board explanation, so I'm hesitant to make.
I didn't catch the end of that, Mary Ann.
So I said it was really hard to hear Van Ert, so I'm hesitant to make any comments on it.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, that's all right. It was the fact that, you know, they had interpreted the specifications differently, and so, on what they were bidding, so they on their bid, they did not include the art bases that's proposed. But based on the specifications and how they were written, they were included in the bid. It's not something that we missed, and so the decision is whether we take on this cost or, you know, have Pember work this out with Van Aert.
Got it. Okay.
So I guess with that, I'll make a motion in the positive, I guess, to approve change order 2 in the amount of $15,000. Going once, going twice. The motion failed for lack of a second. Is that it then, Ann? Mm-hmm. Okay. Failed, Doug. Okay, not approved. Item 7 is the 2020 24th Avenue Storm Sewer Replacement, Pember Companies Incorporated, change order 2, 3, and 4.
I got these. This is the 24th Avenue Storm Sewer replacement, also by Pember. So change order number 2, I can go through them individually. This is not it was not a culvert, basically, that was installed by the city. This was installed by Cadorzi back in the 80s. And when the bank building was built there, they tied into that large culvert. And we did not know that they had tied into it. So when they came to replace it, they found that there was an additional pipe into our big storm sewer structure that we're putting in that we didn't have listed on the plan. So they had to go buy pipe. They had to cut a hole in our large diameter. Basically, they had to do more work that was not outlined on the plan. So this is the work to tie in that outfall pipe that comes from the bank. So I don't know if you want to take them each individually. You want me to explain them all?
I think we'll take them individually. I'll make a motion to approve change order 2, the amount of $2,150.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Change order number 3. This is for this is for the retaining wall. So we had an item there's a retaining wall on the south end of the project, again installed by Cadorzi at the time as part of his landscaping, and it's to hold the driveway up. I had an item in the bid to salvage that block and then stack it on the side and reinstall it when they were done. That item was bid by Pember to be $4,500. When they went to remove the wall, the block retaining wall, they found out that the block were filled with concrete, which isn't typical. Typically, it's filled with pea gravel, and you can remove them. So when they tried to remove them all, they stuck together and they broke. So I was required, Pember went out and got some samples of block. Cadorzi picked out the color of the block, and the block was reinstalled. So what we did is we eliminated the item to salvage and reinstall it for $4,500, and we got a new bid for $7,670, which includes the new block. So the net result is an increase of $3,170 for the new block. And it was a reasonable price. In my mind, they provided a reasonable cost to provide all new block. So I'd make a motion, not the motion, I would recommend approval.
I'll make a motion to approve change order number 3.
I'll second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And the last one, number 4, the placement of the large culvert included excavation and the placement of 6 inches of road base that was called, or not road base, clear stone to bed the pipe, and that was in the spec. When we were excavating, based on the fact that and we didn't know what the condition of the material underneath was, we assumed 6 inches would be enough. When we excavated, because the bottom of that pipe was rotten, the ground becomes saturated, and there was about a foot of poor material. So the contractor had to we made the decision in the field to excavate that foot of sloppy material and provide a foot of stone to bed the pipe. So what we did is we figured out the extra stone for that 6 inches of bedding. Now, so that, this cost is to provide that extra 6 inches of stone. So I think he's justified because they did put in more stone than what was called out for. So, I mean, I'd make the motion to approve. Excuse me again, I'm acting like I'm on the board, which I'm not. I would recommend approval. Sorry.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That was item 7. On to item 8 is the 2020 Bridge Street Pedestrian Crossing Project, SD Ellenbecker, pay estimate number 2.
This is for the addition of crosswalk signals and sidewalk and pedestrian ramps at the Bridge Street and Pick and Save intersection. All work out there is completed. In addition to this, there was some sidewalk added at the dog park that Ellenbecker completed that will be paid separately for the dog park, or out of the dog parks fund. This was reviewed by Josh Van Boxel, the inspector, and myself, and we recommend approval.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Item number 9 is the 2020 sewer rehab project, HydroClean, pay estimate number 1. Ryan is managing this project. This is our annual SIP lining project. I would make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Item 10, Public Works re-roofing project, CNC Services, pay estimate number 3. This is a progress payment. Rick's been working with them. We've had some problems with them, but they are rectifying some of those issues, so I'd make a motion to approve this payment.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Item 11, discussion and possible action on amendment number 1 to the contract with Ayers for construction services for the Bridge Street Bridge Repair Project.
Ayers is our consultant for construction services of the Bridge Street Bridge project. We're replacing the joints and doing a concrete overlay. When this contract was originally signed, we did not have a concrete overlay budgeted for this project. That was bid as a supplemental item, and it was accepted. So with that accepted, the amount of work required and construction oversight required increased. So the actual project increased in length and the amount of time required to oversee the project extended. In addition, this is atypical work for the city, so our inspectors aren't used to seeing this type of work. But now that we've seen one side of the bridge done, we expect to see errors out there a little bit less, where we can observe some of the concrete pours and the forming of the walls. So we see that not only, we expect their hours per week to decrease, but the length of the project is going to increase. So the budget number they have here is to continue on at the same usage rate, which is the 19 hours per week, but we expect that to drop now that we're being more comfortable overseeing the project. So I think this is the absolute maximum that this additional services would cost. So I recommend approval of the change order.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And item 12 is a Portland cement concrete license from Sorensen Construction.
I have reviewed that and I recommend approval. I'll make a motion to approve it.
Thanks. I'll second. All those in favor?
Aye.
I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Also move.
I'll second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.